Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Big Blue Offensive Podcast with Mike Trainer, Jay Jules, and John Depot. Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the BBO NYG Podcast. I am Mike. That is Jules. John is not with us. He's out getting married for like 2-3 weeks. I think it takes that long when that's the destination wedding or whatever. So have fun, John.
Congratulations to him. It hasn't happened officially quite yet, but it's definitely coming up in the next week or two for sure.
Definitely happened. But this is the best time of year, man. I don't know why you would get married during this time because it's the end of the summer. It's preseason football's wrapping up almost. The season's right here. It's fantasy football weeks. All the pre-bets going on. I can't wait, man. This is my favorite time of year, man.
Definitely. Yeah. Listen, you people that are fans of summer, right? You should be automatically football fans because then you have no kind of like bad feelings towards the summer ending because football season starting, right? You're good for like the next 4 or 5 months.
Makes
right?
me happy. Yeah, it makes me happy. I don't give a fuck how cold it gets.
And I know there's fall activities like apple picking and pumpkins and Halloween.
Yeah, all that bullshit.
But nothing like football, man. And it's really upon us, dude. We got one preseason game left. Like, come on, let's go.
You know what I hated about not apple picking, really. That was okay, but pumpkin picking, there was no like thing to it. It was just going there and just looking at pumpkins. There was no kind of physical. You didn't have to grab the pumpkin off the tree. Like at least apple picking, they made you ride a tractor. You're fucking getting apples and shit. They're hitting your head, but pumpkins, like, what the fuck is that about? It's just painted face pumpkins. Why would the fuck? It seems like a waste of a day. Why do people do that shit?
They should let you shoot them out of a cannon. Then that shit would be fun.
Dude, you know how fucking that would kill people? It's like shooting watermelons out the fucking cannon.
They let you shoot the apples. You ever done that?
Yeah, I've done that.
Yeah, those are fucking badass.
I bobbed for apples. I've done that shit at a fucking dumb party when, way before COVID. I think we were like 10 years old and shit. I don't think you could do that now.
I don't. There'll be a lot of skeptical people. You have to keep changing the water.
Yeah, for real. But yeah, so man, like fantasy football's going on. We had some giant news though. We gotta talk about the preseason and stuff. But
real quick, since you brought up fantasy football, for me,
I love it.
This is tomorrow. Tomorrow, yeah. Oh no, actually, sorry, we're recording on Wednesday. So on Friday of this week, it's always that Friday before Labor Day weekend kicks off my draft season.
Right.
It's a nice draft that I do in Manhattan and whatnot. And I've talked about it a few times on here. And literally, like when I sit back and I think about it, it's like it kicks it off. And I'm like one of these maniacs that ends up doing, and most of them are live too. I end up doing like 5 drafts in 7 days and then like one more after.
That's way too many fucking drafts, man. How do you keep track of that shit? That's just nuts. Like I do 3 and I think that's a lot. I used to do like 5. I was like, what am I doing?
Listen, you're either gonna cash in or you're gonna get fucking banged out. It's that simple.
The past couple of years, I've had great teams. I managed to build great teams in like every league I'm in. But then always the final week, championship week, my guys just shit the bed. They don't do anything. I hate it. I can't stand it. It's always some bullshit like that happens to me.
I'm telling you, if it wasn't for the shared league we were in, I might share my strategy for this Friday night because the way it's set up is that it's set up with it where you can keep 2 guys from your team, but you have to keep 1. And it doesn't really affect any like later rounds. It basically just affects rounds 1 and 2. So if you keep your 1, then we just go in round 2, and whoever kept 2, the remaining guys go after it in snake order in round 2. And then round three starts the draft as if it was the beginning of the regular draft. And you go, right?
Cool.
And, it's interesting because, like, it's a lot of strategy involved. And I think primarily because this league does 1 point for every 15 yards receiving, even though everybody loves receivers, you would think like, oh, what the hell? It's only an extra 5 yards to get that 1 point. But, you get a guy that has like 90 yards. You think it's 9 points. All of a sudden it's 7. You know what I mean? Because it's 15 going into the 90, right? So like it does play on it a little bit where it does give you more value to the running back. So after 2 rounds, these running backs are gone, dude. You know what I mean? A lot more than a regular draft because like, you've seen a lot more of this like, sort of a like zero running back approach, and everybody wants to draft Justin Jefferson #1 and all this other shit. So I might make some crazy moves on Friday. I'm still contemplating. I'm still doing some crazy last minute drafts in my head. You know what I mean?
I
Because I'm
want to
just psycho.
I wanted to tell you last year what my thing was. Like, if I get the top two picks, this going back last year, I'm like, I want Justin Jefferson. I think he's gonna blow up. And man, did he blow up in every league I was in. But like I said, the guy should even him, the last championship week, he just shit the bed. I'm like, I fucking hate this. That's
Well,
why
aren't you currently in a draft as we're podcasting right now?
correct. You could hear probably the beats in the background.
Which I've
This
also heard
draft,
you didn't get Justin Jefferson in. Don't worry, I have my connection.
yeah. So like I know, kids gonna tell you you'll vote my whole fucking team. But like it's like I look at it like this. This draft is going on. Like Hollywood set it up, it goes for like days. Like it's no limit or no time limit. So it's like people are yelling. I was playing softball last night in like playoffs and the first game of the championship. And they try like I've gone through the text at the end of the night. It's like 50 text trader, where are you? What are you doing? Like pick. I'm like, dude, we have fucking 3 weeks to make this happen. Just check your phone like when you go home at night. Don't you guys have a life? Like during the day, like they texted me like at fucking 10. Hollywood's like, yo, you up. What do you mean you up? What are you trying to send? Like, what are you saying? That's the type of text I send girls and shit. Like, you up? Like, fucking 2 in the morning. I'm up in fantasy. Like, I got shit to do, man.
I'm in the playoffs, bitch.
Like, ridiculous, man. Holy shit.
Well, you know what's funny is that like we're sharing these different styles of drafting, right? And you know, different formats for fantasy. I mean, one of the reasons why the league that we've been in for 100 years is good because through the last few years or so, I've modified it from all these different leagues that I'm in, and I took what was appreciated by multiple people in each league and put them into ours. You know what I mean? So that's what like actually makes the league good. So like for people out there listening, and maybe you're a commissioner of your own league, there's little things, little tweaks that you could do to your league occasionally that might get your league mates even more involved and more liking it. You know, just to sort of piggyback one last time on the one that I'm doing on Friday. You know, if you ever have a league where you know 12 team, 10 team, whatever it is, and like the last 3 or 4 guys are just whacked out of it, like by week 8 or 9 because they have one win and they know they got no shot.
Yeah.
Well, in this league, we compete where we do a $40 week entry every week where $20 goes to head and the other 20 goes to the top 5 points in the league each week. And listen, let me tell you something. You don't want to lose or tank it, all right? Because you start tanking in week 7, weeks 8, 9, and 10. All of a sudden, you might end up owing like an extra $300-400 just because you tanked those last few weeks.
So
So
it keeps
up. It's another good thing. I haven't done that with our league quite yet, but it's something to kind of keep in mind. And then the keepers, and then yours is interesting too. The one that you currently in. I mentioned it where it's kind of like a draft at your convenience. You know,
I like it. Yeah.
I'm on the shitter right now. Let me make a quick pick.
Yeah, that's what it's more ammo for me to talk shit in different group texts. Like we have our own, we're in ours, we talk shit. And this one is just fantastic. I'm like, no, fuck, I have a life. Like I'm fucking busy, jerk offs. Let me fucking eat. You know, I'm trying to eat dinner, man. You know?
Dude, I know.
I like ours though. I like ours with the auction. The auction draft is that's pretty fun, man. It's really, it's really great to do that. It's a lot of fun.
Well, listen, one of our friends a long time ago mentioned it, Anthony, right? He goes, yo, you know why I appreciate the auction draft over any kind of snake draft? He goes, because no matter what, I can get whoever I want, period.
If you really want
Justin Jefferson, he's like, you really want Justin Jefferson? You're going to get him. You might overpay for him.
Right.
you might draft, but you'll get
or you might let it go, and then all of a sudden, some guy's like, "Why did I pay $150 on one guy?" You know.
That's the beauty of doing it, right? Where all of a sudden, Justin Jefferson goes and he goes for what you think is going to be the premium value, but then those premium studs get less and less as the draft continues, and all of a sudden, I don't know, fucking Jamar Chase went for $10 more than him, or Cooper Kupp went for $20 more. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hilarious. You're like, look, I stole him.
Yeah, that's what it is. Stolen. I like how we changed it now where we did it online, and it keeps track of like your cap and how much you need for each player. So because doing it in the past without that, with like 10 morons doing the draft, nobody could do math. And then we have to check math with everybody else that's trying to keep track because one idiot is just keeps bidding like
too stupid, all the above.
Oh my god, yeah, it's just like, come on, like, and we're doing it for like 5-6 hours. I'm like, get me the hell out of here. So listen, I'm glad those days are over. We'll put all these maniacs on Zoom.
It'll be a lot of fun. Draft thing, and it's a huge topic, and I feel like almost everybody that follows sports religiously is in some sort of form of a fantasy league or
Gotta be.
knows a brother or a cousin or a family member that definitely is. You know what I mean?
You're in. You're in.
There's no question about that. But you know, and real quick, you know what? Like, fuck, we might as well share it. Um, Give me a sleeper from the Giants that you're gonna take, and it can't be Jalen Hyatt.
Man, I mean, he's kind of like my sleeper. I mean, I targeted in this draft. I obviously tried to target Waller, but some guy picked him kind of early than when he was going in mock drafts. And I kind of knew he was a Giant fan, so I kind of knew it was going to happen soon. But I had him, I couldn't get him. But I like him, obviously. But a sleeper, man, that's really tough on the Giants team. Like I would say maybe a sneaky type guy would be Bellinger because Jones likes his tight ends. So you might get 4, 5, 6, maybe even 6 touchdowns this year from him, especially if they're double teaming Waller.
Actually, thinking about it that way too, right? Like having because like you should have two tight ends, right? You don't always have to, depends on how big your roster is, but having two isn't terrible. And if the knock on Waller is that he's hurt, well, Bellinger might step into Waller's role at some point in the season where he's got to pick up a couple of games, and all of a sudden you're not fighting for him on waiver wire because that was your backup tight end. You know what I mean? Right. Where you had a good starter and this guy was just there to be a backup. And that's kind of where these sleepers come from, right? They're guys that are just possibly on there that could actually be a backup in some way. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I was gonna go out and just kind of say that, and this is where you can kind of play with two, but you don't generally draft two of these. But their defense, I mean, their defense is special teams, right? I mean, look, you see what Deontay Banks is getting praised for, right?
Yeah.
And here's how we can kind of transition to what we've been seeing in the preseason. But wasn't there something about like he has the most non throws or defended plays for any rookie corner over the entire preseason on the last couple of weeks or whatnot, something like that, right?
It's like one of
I know I'm
33.
paraphrasing at this point. I'm not exactly stating the point of it.
I think some guy I think it was quoted like he had some one catch in 33 attempts or some shit like that. It was crazy low. Right. I'm like, if we got a stud like this, I mean, Jesus Christ. You're right. Maybe the Giants defense is a sleeper.
Listen, if we can just get Ojulari and Thibs going and both of them healthy and we develop a pass rush, listen, that's gonna be fucking scary, man. This is a defensive unit. Look, you're probably not gonna play them. You're probably not gonna play them against the Eagles. You're probably not gonna play them against the Cowboys. But you might want to play them against Washington twice out of the year because that team and their fucking bullshit.
For real, man. I mean, what happened with Washington? Terry McLaughlin hurt his turf toe or some shit they're saying, so he might be out a while. It's affecting his draft status too.
It definitely is, and it should. And honestly, they're fucking morons if you ask me, because
what happened?
At first, I was watching this game, and I'm like, okay, Commanders got their starting unit out there, and I refer to them as Commanders because they're not going to be called that much longer, so it's just fun to say it now. And and literally, and part of it too is like it was like as if because they're, I think I forget his exact title, if he's like the GM, co-owner, or whatnot, was actually in the booth with Troy Aikman and Joe Buck in the second quarter, right? So like they would do it, or no, sorry, he started the third quarter. So it was a big thing going on, right, for them. Like it was a lot of exposure. So that was part of the reason why I thought they were playing their starters. So it's like, okay, no problem. Like whatever, maybe a drive or two, normal shit for preseason, right? And then it goes through the first quarter. And so they come out of second quarter, and there's no reason, the Ravens went down the field. It was what it was. There's no reason to put the starters back out there. And they're driving and trying to show like 2-minute offenses and all the shit. They're going down the field. I'm like, what are they doing? And that's when Terry McLaurin makes a big catch on like third down and gets up and slipping off the fucking field. And it's like, for what? You're opening the game in for another couple of weeks, bro. Like, what are you doing? And then I realized that the Ravens had this crazy preseason stat that was continuously going on, and Washington decided to ruin it. And for those who don't pay attention, it was that they had won like 24 consecutive preseason games, and you literally had to go back like 5 years before the last time the Ravens lost in a preseason. So the fucking Command, right? That's an interesting feat in itself, right? And I don't want to take anything away from it. But they played it like a regular game for at least fucking 3 quarters to try to beat them on that shit, just to have that on their fucking thing. And that's why you saw these Commanders fans like celebrating in the fucking stands. Johan Dotson like doing shit on their fucking secondary. And it's like, okay.
You know why, Jules? Because that's the closest they're ever gonna get to winning the Super Bowl. That was their moment. That was their time to shine because they're gonna be fucking terrible.
It's like so sick. Because you know what? I heard, and I don't know if you did, but I was on a couple of group chats over the weekend on Friday where if I'm not mistaken, and I'm not even trying to exaggerate this, right? I'm pretty sure Carolina was missing like 3 or 4 of their defenders. Granted, 1 or 2 was a big pass rusher, understood.
Right.
And there was like maybe one of their interior linemen, and I think maybe one of their guys in the second. That was it. But when we went down the field effortlessly, and we'll get into more details regarding that opening drive, I was getting shit like, oh, bro, we played against backups, bro. Meanwhile, the Commanders literally played an entire half with their starting unit
Against backup.
like there were dudes that even on that team. There was not even, I don't even think there were certain backups in the secondary for Baltimore. Like that's how bad it was. And they're over there, yo, did you see the way bro, we're gonna be nasty. We got weapons. You see Dawson, he's gonna be unstoppable. It's like
I don't want to hear it.
going against high school kids. Like, what do you think?
Right. Of course these guys are gonna get wide open. Yeah, I think like what Daniel Jones and the offense did to open up that drive for the starters to actually play. I mean, that was just like pinpoint accuracy up and down down the field like so quick. And I tell you, man, this offense is going to be scary, and it's not your Giants, run offense no more. This is a different. This is a passing team now. You guys got to watch out, man. These Giants they're gonna put up points, man.
As long as we stay healthy, we're gonna be a different offensive unit this season. There's no question. All right, Neil will continue to get better, and that's a prediction on my end. He will continue. I know there's been a lot of fucking just dogging him all preseason,
but not recently.
Camp and just ripping him. Like the reason
Last week was fine, Jules.
Well, nah, they said literally like Neil looked like shit in practice this past Monday rather, because Gibbs was making him look terrible and all this bullshit. Like, dude, it's just like I said, it's going to happen. It's going to go on. But one thing that, and I thought you were going to jump all over this. Yeah, so what? Carolina was missing a couple of its starters on defense, perhaps, right? And yet we moved the ball efficiently. We went down the field and we scored a touchdown, right? But weren't we supposedly missing the most dynamic offensive player that we have? And he's the whole reason that we even went to the playoffs last year. He didn't play either. I think that kind of makes up for them fucking missing 2 or 3 guys. You know what I'm saying?
They didn't even run the ball. Like they just came out firing.
I think it was 2 attempts or something, if that. I think Jones had one of them, right? Like, I mean, come on.
It was embarrassing for Carolina. I almost felt bad for them. I'm like, just lasers to like Waller, 3 catches, right? Touchdown to Belly. This team is just like, Paris Hilton caught that nice fucking over the middle catch. I was like, holy shit, for like 20 yards. I'm excited for this team. It just hard to really pick who you want to start in fantasy though on the Giants.
Yeah.
You really can't.
I mean, listen, you know what? We and I did say no, you can't say Jalen Hyatt, right? But
besides Barkley,
if a guy's going in his position, especially a position that you only start one player, and he's going around like they got him around like 12, 13, 14 in the rankings, these expert rankings, and that guy ends up like, I don't know, maybe in the top 7 or 6, right? That's kind of a sleeper coming out of nowhere, especially if the draft value for this guy is ADP has got to be 10th round, if not further along in the draft. Daniel Jones.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I mean? Like you hear about how like they're praising Justin Fields. Justin Fields, oh my God. He's got DJ Moore. Listen, DJ Moore sucks, okay?
He does.
He had a couple of 1,000-yard seasons. He doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. He's gonna be in Chicago where it's fucking like freezing in fucking September. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna be a whole different ballgame. Chase Claypool garbage. He's fucking trash. Like they have 4 different guys in the running in the backfield plus Fields. Like, dude, this isn't what the transition was for Jalen Hurts, and I'm gonna keep saying that. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm telling you right now, like Daniel Jones should have a better year than Justin Fields fantasy wise. Okay. Yeah, and of course, if he does that, then obviously he's gonna have a better year statistically as well. But what I'm trying to say is that Justin Fields is ranked as like the 7th guy. He's like the 7th quarterback on these ranked. Like, are you kidding me?
I don't understand why they're doing it
that way last year. Like they just think it's Jalen Hurts 2.0. You know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous.
Right. But listen, if you throw him on the Eagles, all right, that's a different story. Maybe like he goes up there. Like the only reason why Jalen Hurts is going number 1 quarterback is look at the fucking squad. Look at the offense they got.
And the line.
Jesus Christ.
The offensive line. And you know what? No, Pat Mahomes is getting a little drafted crazy early. And then
right after that too.
And then it's Hurts. You know what I mean? And then, kind of Lamar Jackson, which is crazy if you ask me. But and then it starts to trickle down, and then that's when you get, then it's Joe Burrow, and then it's kind of Justin Fields, is it that right there? And it's like, dude,
I
there's
know.
no way I could sit there because it goes back and forth between him and Herbert in the rankings. It's like him, Herbert, and Lawrence, but they jump around a lot of
Right
times.
there.
Those three guys, they're interchangeable in a way,
It's just because he
and
runs. That's all it is. It's just because he runs.
but like even these experts are just they're praising him. Oh man, he's gonna be there. Wait till you see what Fields. Like I can't believe we're having this conversation, and I only bring it up because it was a quote unquote mistake when we didn't take Justin Fields in that draft, right?
Oh
And we
yeah, I
traded
remember that.
back, and so that's why I'm like harping on it. And I want like loyal Giants fans to kind of pay a little attention to that because I don't want that talk to start up again. All right, what we got
Right.
going here is really solid, and honestly, I'd rather have Daniel Jones than fucking Justin Fields. Period. Stop. All right. So you know what? Take
Yep.
fucking Daniel Jones as your backup quarterback. I think you said that 3 weeks ago, Mike. You're doing that. So
I'm eyeing him right now. I'm just keeping him in the back of my mind. So we'll see.
don't
We'll
wait
see
too
about
long,
that.
man. Because with all these offensive weapons, man, who knows what we're gonna look like this year? And I'll tell you, I'm not
Oh,
just saying this, but I got like a feeling for that Sunday night game with Dallas, man. Like it's payback, bro. We had him on that Monday night game. You know
right.
what I
We
mean?
were
Like,
there. Yeah. And we
yeah,
fucking
dude. Like
blew it.
it feels like that, but different. I don't know, man. We'll see. We got a couple more weeks before we review that one.
Yeah, we were so close on that. But yeah, listen, preseason was fun. They actually won the game, but who really gives a shit about time like that? The game's getting out of hand. Like later on, you don't really even care because a lot of these guys aren't going to be on the team anymore. But a couple stands out. Obviously, Banks we talked about. I think if we found a lockdown corner, great. Hyatt dropped a pass, but that was from Tyrod. So like if he starts dropping pass from Jones, that's different. But then right after the play, he caught a touchdown, like a deep end. So
Dude,
he redeemed himself. So
he
he'd
was
be
so
fine.
open in the secondary on that catch that he had to
It
slow
was
down in the end zone
ridiculous.
to catch it.
Right. It was ridiculous. The move he put on, and he was just gone. I'm like, if there's no
There
safety
was no
behind
one
that,
near
you're
him,
done.
bro. It was ridiculous. But he can't run routes, Mike. Remember, he's a one-trick pony.
Oh, that's what everybody says, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Total
because he literally
bullshit on
just
that one.
lined up on the ends on the sideline of the field and just ran straight and he blew by everybody. He didn't make any moves.
Yep.
There was no cuts involved. There was no fakes. And this other guy that's a professional currently was just baffled by his speed.
Yeah.
He just stood there and looked, right? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, right. It's amazing. He's been doing it in practice all summer. So yeah, watch out for that guy.
For real.
Um, there was another guy I wanted to talk about is our center, man, the rook.
Oh,
The rookie
JMS?
has been no pressures, dude, at all. Like pretty much all preseason. I mean, he's not pancaking everybody, but nobody's getting through that dude. It's ridiculous. I love watching him, like, snap the ball back and, like, let's go. He's ready to hit somebody, man. Dude, now we got a center, we got our bookends, and we're playing around with the guard position.
Well, maybe if it's a
But
rotation, who knows?
maybe it could be. Maybe we got
Just
guys that are
fresh
good.
guys in.
I listen, maybe our guards should just be competitive and good. Like, they don't have to be so great. But if Ben Bredesen beats out the other guys, I wouldn't mind. I like the way he plays. I think he's good with the cohesiveness of the offensive line. I think he keeps everybody together. I think he's definitely my actually sleeper to be our starting left guard.
Okay. All right. Well, it's crazy because just going back to that Washington game, Nick Gates was their starting center, right?
I've seen that.
And yeah, it was okay, right? He didn't do anything spectacular. And yet, when they went in to score that touchdown that I believe Antonio Gibson caught and fought his way in, and he came running down the field and pushed him in, and then they were shoving and pushing in the end zone and everything else.
Yeah.
That's what Nick Gates does. He's a
Right.
tough dude, way pushing him around. He's a no-nonsense guy, but is he really that quality of a center? I don't know. You know what I mean? But then you look at this kid JMS, and it's like, damn. Like, and he's a
Right.
rookie. And like nobody's getting by him. And like I say, he ain't pancaking nobody, but he doesn't need that fire and energy. We don't need that out of him. And the guy just does his job and gets it done.
Right. And he's
You know
on
what
an
I mean?
incline. He's going up. He's just gonna get
Yeah.
better.
This is his rookie year. Like, you could see this guy developing into almost the caliber of an Andrew Thomas in a way, where it's like this guy comes out of nowhere. I mean,
Pro
he
Bowl.
was rated the number one center coming out of college this year.
Dude, he has
Like
Pro Bowl written all over him.
the only thing I think that I could find that was a knock on him was that he was 24. That's it. And he's not a 22-year-old coming out of
Right.
college. He stayed an extra year or whatever, started school late. Who the hell knows?
Big deal.
Yeah, exactly. He's a lineman. He could play for another 10 years.
I'm glad he's a little bit older, Jules. He's got to go against Dexter Lawrence all day, every day. I mean, he's only going to get better. He probably age a little quicker going against him too. But like I tell you, that's good practice to have like good competition on both sides of the ball. So when you practice hard, the games come around. Some games might be kind of easy because, like Jules, you said before, the Giants defense is a sleeper. So I'm liking the competition. I'm liking everybody together. Seems like a fun team. Great coaching staff. Like, how can you not be excited about this team? The NFL knows too because they have the Giants on. Like 4 out of the first 6 games are primetime games. That's unheard of. So the NFL definitely knows something's cooking with the Giants, and then you got Gronk coming out saying, if I come out of retirement, I only want to play with Dayball. So it seems like the NFL is on notice. People are waking up. Players want to come play for Coach Dabes, and look at it. Look at the success. Look at Daniel Jones, like going into year 2 finally of the same system. That he's going to actually be, like my man's brain is probably fried from all the systems he had to learn. Finally, he could just go in and play football for once, I'm
And
excited.
he's got some weapons. He's finally
Weapons,
got some weapons. Now, look,
some.
maybe we have something with Hyatt. I don't know yet. I don't want to talk him up. I know I've made jokes on certain platforms and everything else where I said he's a baby Tyreek Hill. Okay, fine, whatever. Right now, and I'm clarifying that it's kind of a joke, but I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he became a baby Tyreek Hill, right? And usually when you say baby or poor man's version, they're not going to be that level, but they're going to still be pretty damn fucking good. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, but the point is that we're still missing that number one kind of really true wide receiver. And I know I see Waller if he's healthy. Yes, he could be a Travis Kelce-esque type player, right? And then you're gonna have all these little slot guys that are gonna mix and match, and you saw Wendell Robinson in practice this week running routes. So he's a couple of weeks away from probably coming back, So
Okay.
it's gonna be interesting, man. It's gonna be very fucking interesting when all these guys are on the field at the same time. You know what I mean? And like you have certain sets that are coming out, and I don't know, man. I think a lot of people are going to be sleeping on us a little bit. We're starting to get some notoriety, though. There have been a lot of like these analysts and podcasts and everything else coming
Yeah.
out and being like, "Yo, the Giants are more legit than people are saying." You know what I mean? Like a lot of people started saying it. And I'm kind of like, shh, don't do it yet. Don't do it. Not
Right,
yet.
yeah. Keep
Not
your
yet.
keep the Giants name out your motherfucking mouth.
Unless you're a Giants fan, then you talk all no, because
Yeah, dude,
I got
everybody.
pushback.
Collinsworth, right?
Yeah,
Collinsworth said
yeah,
it
yeah.
on the Colin Coward show. He was talking about them.
Yep.
Pat, the crazy Pat kicker, ex-Indianapolis kicker. What's his last name? Pat.
I always forget his
Why,
last
why,
name.
why am I
It's a while for me.
forgetting his name too, man? But he was
He
talking
wears
about the
tank tops all
Giants.
the time.
So he was talking high about the Giants. So
Uh,
now people are starting to recognize. I think, obviously, the culture and the talent, just like they're finally doing something in New York. I think everybody should be excited. I don't know why people are still knocking the team, knocking Jones and shit like that. You guys are crazy. Just get on board before it's too late. You know what I'm
I'll
saying?
tell you,
Otherwise, we're not
listen,
gonna want you.
I'm looking at that first month of the season, right?
It looks
And
brutal.
but even the first month is what it is. I mean, look, 2-2, people would say that's a win right there, right? But I kind of want to come out 3-1. I really do, right? Because
Who doesn't?
I want to pay back Dallas. There's no doubt in my fucking mind. And I want to pay back Seattle, who's week 4. Right. And they're in our stadium this year. I want motherfucking payback against Geno Smith and company. All right.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then in between is Arizona and 49ers. We should be able to beat Arizona with no Kyler Murray, right? And if he is playing, he's not 100%. So if we don't beat that team, we got issues, right? So if you come out and beat Dallas, you can easily go 3-1 over that fucking stretch in those 4
Right.
games.
You
You
need
know
that
what I
one
mean?
upset.
And I guarantee you, we do that. Look, and honestly, you take away San Fran's D, because and I understand they got Christian McCaffrey. I understand Debo and Brandon Ayuk.
All
And,
right, they got a good team.
I just don't
We
know
got
what
a good
that
team.
situation's like. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't want to get too far ahead. Let's see what happens in Dallas. And like I said, 3-1, 2-2 is a great way to come out this season. But I'm telling you, we come out 3-1 or better. Oh, oh, watch how the media shifts and
Oh yeah.
everything's gonna be like, we can't wait for the showdown between the Eagles and the
Right.
Giants. Like Dallas is on the fucking back page now. You know what I mean? Like
And
that, because that's how quick shit turns. You know what I mean?
that's when
So
you go after them, like because they in the media, like you're saying exactly what Mina Kimes tweeted out, right? When she's seeing the Giants in their first drive or whatever, And she was the dog. She was
Oh my
laughing
God.
at Daniel Jones being
That
pissed.
fucking ongoing
That
meme that she looks
that
retarded.
memes, that stupid little face, like she's sucking a lemon or whatever. But she said, she tweeted out, "Oh, Coach Brian Daboll and this coaching staff is just magnificent." She won't have the balls
She can't. She
to give
can't.
Daniel Jones credit. She can't do it. She fucking can't do it. I went after her. Shout out to the Chad Powers fan club, everybody that supports the show and tweets with me, all the likes. So we've seen a lot of support there. Going after Mina, she won't respond to us. Mina,
Never.
throw some balls, come on the podcast. But
Or
it
at
was
least
just so
respond.
fantastic.
Just respond. All you gotta
Right,
do is respond. Just send the
respond,
website
Mina.
back,
I know you seen it.
or whatever they call it these days.
You scared? You
Yeah,
scared?
for real. Like,
She's
because
one of them.
that's a person that, and there's so many of them, right? But that's a person where Jones
Spotlight.
has that kind of year. You know what? Like that meme should be fucking everywhere. You know what I mean?
I
Like they
can't
should
wait.
be. You ever see the one where it's like Wolverine and then like looking into an iPad and then like a picture of somebody because he's sad. There should be another one where it's like him with the claws out ready to fuck somebody up. And, you know what I mean? But it's like Daniel Jones's face or some shit, you know?
You know what we got to do? We got to get all the fans that show up to a game instead of like White Towel Night where we went to last year. We should have Mina Kimes Stupid Face Night where everybody holds up a sign of Mina Kimes Stupid Face. And the Giants are like 10-0, and it's just all in the fucking stands. It'll be
I'll tell
maybe
you
for
this,
the
Mike.
first ESPN show, for the
I'll tell
first
you this, Mike.
ESPN game.
If the Giants host a playoff game this year, okay, that should be one of the things they do, especially if it's on like ESPN, because like they're throwing those games on a Saturday night and whatnot.
Great.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. We can, and we'll have plenty of time to talk it up between then and now, of course.
Of course. God, I would love that. I just love going after everybody. And I think Chad Powers went on Twitter and he was going after old tweets. He just got caught up and he was going after old tweets about people knocking Daniel Jones and the Giants. How dare you guys? You're embarrassing. You're not Giant fans. I'm telling you, to dog this kid. Obviously, you just look at football, fantasy football, and you think Jalen Hurts is the best because he puts up the most fantasy points for a quarterback. You guys are, yeah, for 1 year, but you guys are just like, you don't realize the whole picture and realize like, what this team has, their capabilities, and where they're going because they're just going up and up and up. So, climb on board, man. That's all I got to say.
For real. And look, you know what? I know Philly's got a great line, and I know that their offense doesn't center around their running attack, right? But it's mainly through Hurts, is what I should say, right? Because the point is that Miles Sanders was always pretty good. He was like Robin to Batman when it came to Saquon and him in the same backfield in Penn State, right? Basically, right? Like I don't know how much you follow Penn State, but those of you who do, you would have noticed that Barkley was like Batman. He was like Robin. He was still pretty good. He still had a senior year where he was pretty decent. And that's why he got drafted by Philadelphia, right? But he had a lot of injuries. He was always pretty good, and then he finally put together a healthy season. And that was the production behind that kind of offense and the line that they have. But DeAndre Swift isn't better. He's not. And Rashad Penny is not better. Like they definitely got worse in that category. People are ignoring that. And it's going to be curious. It's going to be very interesting to see if that really affects this offense or not later on in this season. You know what I mean? Because look, we got to point out these things for our opponents because we play this. They're the fucking champs. They won the NFC conference. That's the team I want to fucking beat. There's no question. Sure, I got to beat Dallas. Sure, I got to beat the Commanders. Sure, I got to beat all these other teams that are on the schedule.
That's the team.
But that's the team. That's the fucking team. Everybody in the AFC that's fucking loaded, by the way, right? Which all the fucking quarterbacks they got and everything going on there. They're all fucking bullseyes on Kansas City. Are you kidding me? Of course it is. And the way Pat Mahomes talks shit and the way he acted in that show on Netflix, Quarterback, hell yeah, that dude's got a bullseye on his fucking back. You know what I mean? Like, what else are you expecting? But I will go this far and say that without a doubt, there's no question that fucking Daniel Jones finishes in the top 5 in the NFC this year. I don't give a fuck what you say at his position. There is no doubt in my mind because the way that these quarterbacks are, Rodgers now gone, Kyler Murray's hurt. What? I'm afraid of fucking Justin Fields. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Listen, David Carr, he's a bit of a gunslinger, so you never know what you're gonna get out of him down in New Orleans. But and then of course Hurts. But like outside of that, what? Dak Prescott? Come on, dude. Really? You know, what other NFC quarterbacks are out there? What
Nope.
Purdy's going to step up out in San Francisco? Geno Smith.
I ain't
These
worried about him.
Matthew Stafford. I don't even know where his arm is. The dude's getting like an arm installed, bro. He has no more elbow. What the fuck is out with? You know what I'm saying? Like what quarterbacks are in the NFC? Like, yo, you Giants fans should be happy. We have a quarterback that could be up there as one of the better quarterbacks in our conference, without question.
I tell you, the good metrics, like you're right, though, is going to be the Eagles game. When we beat the Eagles, that's going to make all the talk radios and all the talk shows. The Giants for real? Are the Giants That's what all it's going to be, man. You're right. The whole media's going to shift. And listen, I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. I'm very excited.
Well, Mike, that's what I'm saying. Like if we come out, because look, it's very possible, right? I'm not saying, I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm not putting a stamp on it or anything else like that. But it's extremely possible that the Giants come out 3-1 to start the season. It is, right? And look, we could easily turn around and go 1-3. You know, that's also a possibility. Do I think that's a strong possibility? No, but it is a possibility. Most likely, what everyone says, will probably be 2-2, right? And then we go into Miami, and then we have Buffalo. That's where it gets tough, right? Because if we do come out 3-1, you can't lose to Miami and Buffalo. You got to win one of those games, right? And if you could be at 4-2 after 6 games, coming off of a win against Miami or Buffalo, having a win under your belt against either Dallas and San Fran, and of course Seattle, yo, that's when you'll start seeing that media shift prior, because it'll be a build up to that Eagles match, which would then be. I mean, listen, we don't even play the Eagles. Jesus Christ! Again, we don't play them until December. We play them on Christmas. That's the first time we play the Eagles, man. There's a lot of time between then and then. You know what I'm saying?
I know.
It's ridiculous, bro. Like, come
It
on.
sucks that we got to wait that long.
Yeah. And like, could you imagine if the division hype on Christmas Day is the winner, like, takes over first place in the NFC?
Dude,
You know what I mean?
I already told my family, like, I don't care who's having Christmas this year. I'm not going. Like, the Giants play the Eagles. Like, this is my kryptonite. This is the team I hated all my life. I'm staying home. I'm ordering like some Popeye's chicken from the night before, so I'll have it all ready. And then I'm just gonna celebrate Christmas in front of my TV watching that fun game. Because I'm gonna have the craziest mouth on me. I can't be in front of my family saying, this motherfucker, like on Christmas, on Santa's day. I can't be fucking going nuts. I can't be, I have to be home watching. I can't have that distractions going on.
Well, you know what? Like, honestly, it just kind of inspired me, and it might be a little crazy, but it is Christmas, right? And you know, Vinny was on here last show, and he was basically stating, you know, oh, where should we go? Where should we go? Well, that is in Philadelphia on Christmas Day.
Oh,
All right, the fan base that actually threw snowballs at Santa Claus.
right.
Could you imagine going there with like a Santa,
like
a fucking Santa hat?
That's dude. You just asking for it. If you walk in that same Giants gear, you're asking for everybody. If you want that noise, God bless you.
No, I was just saying, we'll go like 10 deep, like 10, 15 deep.
Even that, I just don't want to hear it.
Rock solid, though.
I don't want to hear it.
Poor guys can run off and get police. You know what I mean?
I just don't want to hear it from these shit eaters. They're the worst. They are the worst fan base.
But could you imagine doing that? Like, imagine, like I said, like, you know, you draw the picture of it. It's literally the Giants and Eagles. Winner takes over first place in the NFC East on Christmas Day. And you show up with like 15 Giants fans in Santa outfits with like fake snowballs and fucking, and like the Giant Santa hats on to go into that stadium. But that would fucking be classic.
At least one of those 15 Santas aren't making it home. I mean, they might end up on a sleigh.
Home, okay?
That one Santa might end up on a sleigh, and that sleigh's carried by like 4 others, and like it's a gurney, because something's crazy gonna go down if you show up.
Hey, but like, you really think like that many like hardcore psychotic fans would be out on Christmas? It's Christmas. You should be home with your family.
Philly, dude, they don't give a fuck about holidays. This is their holiday, man. I'm telling you, all the maniacs will be out there. All the guys that have nothing to do on Christmas, that are sad and lonely and just want to get wrecked, they're the ones going to be at that game, and it's just going to be madness.
Seriously.
Oh man. Oh, just
topic there, but you know, that's the vibe, at least, that, you know, what I'm trying to explain to everyone this evening is that's the vibe I've been getting in preseason. You know, I didn't have this feeling for a fucking long time, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, and again,
been a while.
I'm not saying we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm not trying to like pump this team up to that level at this point in time. There's still a few things that have to happen. You got to stay healthy. A couple of guys got to develop in the proper form. There's definitely a few things that definitely need to happen for us to really even be that type of team that goes to the playoffs and can make some noise in the playoffs, right? So we're not there quite yet. But to sit back and say that I'm not excited about this season, I'm not looking forward to it. I don't love the fact that we're opening up against Dallas on Monday night. What are you kidding me, bro? It's something that I haven't felt in years. Because like, dude, the last couple of seasons, even last year included, going into Tennessee, I was like, man, I don't want to. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's probably a loss. We can come back next week and beat Carolina. We'll be 1-1 to start the season. Not bad, whatever, right? Like, it was just that kind of defeated, like type of feel almost that you were going into it. This year, I don't feel that, man. This year, I'm like, yeah, you're damn right. I've been talking shit to Commanders fucking fans. You're damn right. I've been fucking getting feeling a little more confident. Fuck that, man. Let's go. Like, this is what it's all about, right? Like,
Time.
we have a team that can compete. That's what I'm trying to say.
I tell you, I say the Giants could be 13-4 every year because I'm just an absolute maniac. But this year, I really truly believe it. I think it's 13-4 at least, if not better. I think it's going to be. I think
We
it's
have
gonna
a
be
tough schedule. I could
we do.
like
We do.
realistically, and we'll do our recap before the kick off the season, like we always do. But realistically, I could see them win 10, 11 games this year. Realistically, I
Okay.
could, right. But again, it really, and I hate to put so much emphasis on this, and I've been talking about this for weeks. I hate to put that much emphasis on that Dallas game, but we have to kind of take that game if we're going to be serious this year. You're at home. This is you had a terrible record against the NFC East last season, right? You were in that Monday
Must
night
win.
game. There was a couple of things that went certain ways, and it could have maybe shifted into a different type of game. And we lost, right? You need to come out and make that statement on that Monday. It's
Do.
Sunday night. It's Sunday fucking night, right? You got to come out. You got to take that game, bro. And you take that game, and then let's start the fucking season. And fuck Dallas. You know what I mean?
Start the
Like,
show.
but we'll see. I'm going to lower my expectations. Dallas still has a very good defense. Their defense is extraordinary. CeeDee Lamb is really good. We'll see what Tony Pollard is, but he's fresh, right? So like a back like that used to be a wide receiver in college, and now he's supposedly the man. And then they have Deuce Vaughn, little midget that's like 5'4", I think. He looks like mini me out there. Deuce Vaughn, the back running back. I mean, look,
Yeah.
when it's beginning and they're fresh and it's the first time on tape, they're going to look better, but as the season wears on, they might wear down a little bit. But, I'm not going to talk about that much too yet because we got to focus on shit. So it is what it is. But I honestly think too that the Giants can beat Dallas on Sunday night and the Bills can end up beating the Jets on Monday night. And all that fucking hype about the Jets goes right out the fucking window, man. Like, back to being the motherfucking Jets.
Right. Back to being the second fiddle always.
You know
And
what
our
I mean?
tenants in
Just
MetLife.
like that. I mean, listen, and could Jet fans turn around and say the opposite is true, where we could go and Dallas can end up smoking us, and then all of a sudden they go on Monday night and they end up fucking beating the Bills at home? Sure. Rodgers throws for 350 yards and 4 touchdowns, and he loses in a shootout or something. That Jets D is crazy, and the Jets win like 21-0 or something. Absolutely. Is it likely though? That's the question you have to ask yourself.
I think listen, I'll be fair. I think the Jets are gonna be okay, but we'll see when it gets there. Is that
I
a
hope
cat in the background?
that's my bodyguard right there.
That's that black. It looks like that black cat from MetLife when that shit ran like 90 yards.
Don't tell nobody, all right?
Yo, but real quick before we wrap it up, just shout out to Sweeney, our tight end that went down with a medical experience. I won't share the details of my opinion or anything on that. Just crazy, just really crazy. Hopefully he gets better quick. And that's really it as far as Giants injury news. So I think we're good. Ready to
Yeah,
roll
man.
on
Listen,
Saturday night.
like you said, it's getting good. You know what? I don't. I feel like we spent so much more time through the last couple of seasons focusing in on so much on preseason and camp and all because that was our enjoyment, right? Like similar to what and how I started this whole night off with the Commanders and how like they were so excited that they beat the Ravens and they stopped their preseason streak. Like, woo! Guess what, Dicks? In 2 weeks, we're all going to be 0-0. So it doesn't fucking matter. And you
Sure.
better go and handle fucking Arizona because if you don't, you're going to be a laughing fucking stock. Okay. So, like, those are the things to kind of keep in mind. And I think that's why we've sort of on this show this fucking year been kind of just cool and collective about it and haven't been overdoing the pods because it's like, bro, no, we're saving this shit for the season, man. All right. Like, I just got that
Can't wait.
fucking vibe, bro. Like, it's gonna be a good season again. Like, and last year, last year was a surprise, and I feel like this year is gonna prove that last year wasn't a fluke. You know what I mean? And we're a team to be reckoned with, whether or not that equals more playoffs or playoff wins or an opportunity for the Super Bowl. No, I'm not saying all that, but just a team that can't be fucking slept on anymore, at the very fucking least, And we'll see what happens because once you get rolling and you get into the playoffs, anything can happen, as we've seen in fucking many of our playoff and Super Bowl runs. So I'm gonna leave you guys with that. We'll definitely be on to recap maybe next week what happened with the Jets, even though it'll just be more so of surprise guys that don't make the team. There's some rumors out there that Aaron Robinson might not make it. Shane Lemieux might be a cut. So, it's going to be interesting who the 53-man roster ends up being come next week, right? When they have to put in the time and see what's going on. So we're going to have that going on. We'll have some reactions to that. And then it's going to be fucking Dallas, dude. All about Dallas. But until then, get ready for your fantasy drafts. Like and subscribe, hit the channel, do all the good things that people do to get this shit going because we're going to be fucking crazy this year. I'm telling you right now, this is going to be a wild fucking podcast for the whole fucking rest of this season because once the season starts rolling and we start winning games, it's fucking on. Like fucking like they used to say Donkey Kong, right?
It's going to be very obnoxious.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's time, right? All those times, all
We
the
deserve it.
all the bullshit. Man, bro,
Took a beating.
There's a lot of shit that I've been festering for the last fucking couple of years. All right.
People are still quoting my old crazy Gettleman takes. So,
Right.
I see you guys. I see you guys out there.
All right. So you've been warned. All right. And for some, it's going to be excitement. If others, oh shit, look out.
Our time.
It's time. But we're going to leave you with that. Listen, fantasy's kicking off this season. This is when I start my fantasy hell week. So make sure you make some plays. Don't feel desperate. Know your league mates. That's a clear cut fucking rule. Know your league mates. If you know these guys go after running backs early, you might have to reach. If you know that they're going to go heavy on wide receivers, you might want to grab one in rounds 1 or 2, right? Just so you can get one of those top guys. Know your league. That's a huge key to when it comes to this shit. And don't believe too much of the fucking ESPNs and the CBSs because those guys suck when it comes to doing it.
They do suck.
Yeah, watch YouTube, pay attention to other shit, and know your league. That's the advice you get from the Big Blue Offensive. Like and subscribe. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Go Giants.